Okay guys, be honest, how many times you have wished you could just wake up one day fluent in a new language, I can say English, without ever opening a textbook. Like, wouldn't it be amazing if learning English could happen while binge watching your favorite Netflix series or scrolling on Instagram? If that sound like a dream come true. You know something, okane kesegu watashi wa sta. Like, hi everyone, my name is Shalima and welcome back to my another session of learning English with me. So before beginning, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the lessons that I post on this channel, and please like the video and share it with your friends too, with your loved ones and who wants to speak English. So today we are diving into whether you can actually learn a new language in this super easy, no study required way. So what exactly do I mean by lazy learning? It's honestly all about those methods that don't feel like studying at all. For some people it might be watching a specific TV show, for others it might be listening to a very catchy, very trendy song, and for even more people it might be using a fun apps. I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking. It's not possible to learn a new language, English language, in a lazy way. You know, you do have to put in the work, yes, but at the same time lazy language learning is rooted in science, and there is the term incident learning. That's a lot of people use when they say, oh, I learn English because I watch a lot of American YouTube. My case here, incidental learning happens when we pick up new information actively without trying to do. So it's like when you are listening to a song in a foreign language, or if you are listening some speeches, some religion speeches, it's say in English, and you can pick up a new vocabulary, you can pick up some new interesting phrases, and then a few minutes later you sing along, and it can work even with a language that we can barely understand. If you are familiar with this Instagram trend, guys, that is going around right now, it's going something okane kesegu watashi wa sta, like star, like really, okay, only word I know, and it's star because it sounds like stars in English, but that's exactly how incidental learning works. I'm not beginner learning Japanese or Korean, whatever language, but I can still pick up some interesting words here. And I know a lot of people have even made videos on the Instagram explaining what all these words mean, just because so many people walk around singing the song even without knowing all these vocabularies, right, including me also. So, and this approach really works because our brain is amazing at picking up patterns and making connections even when we don't want to put in a lot of efforts, and plus when we are doing something that's enjoyable. And a lot of people love using, you know, Instagram or TikTok. You know, it's actually helps them learn better. They hear and it's trendy songs, they want to see what all these words actually mean, and they memorize them faster this way. So if you make all these little changes to your daily routine to include a foreign language effortlessly, okay, so let's call it effortlessly, like switching your phone to English or watching Instagram and Facebook only in your foreign language, or maybe only listening to music in your target language. You are creating the incidental learning, and that's why a lot of people use this complex to show that yes, for them it was possible to learn a language in a lazy way. Let's talk about the role of immersion and how important it is. When we talk about lazy language learning, you have probably already heard the idea that if you want to learn a language, you should just immerse yourself in it. If you know immersion, you know, so many people talk about it online, especially on YouTube. But what does it really means? And most importantly, how does it work? So immersion is pretty much surrounding yourself with a language in your everyday life, and it can really help your language acquisition. It can be through watching TV or listening music or listening religious speeches, or even just hearing conversation in your targeted language. And it works because when you are immersing in the language, you are constantly exposing your brain to new vocabulary, new grammar, new sentences, new phrases, some interesting phrases, even if you are not actively studying them. But here is it gets super interesting, and where a lot of people make mistakes. There is a theory called the comprehensible input hypothesis. It suggests that we learn language best when we are exposed to material that is slightly above our current level. And the mistakes that a lot of people make, especially beginners and learners, is they choose something that is way too difficult for them, and then they wonder why the learning is not happening, because the level of understanding is just way too high and it's not comprehensible enough for them for their current level. Obviously, in the process of learning a new language, you will be increasing your level, so eventually you will be able to understand more and more and choose more difficult things, like more difficult movies, more difficult speeches, more difficult podcast. And that's why the approach I personally always take the beginning is I only use resources for language learners. At the very beginning, when I am a beginner, maybe I am like an early intermediate student only for language learner, because I know that my level is just not high enough to understand everything, and that was created for native speakers. So if you start watching a movie in English or religious speeches in English or whatever you like in English, you realize that is just way too hard for you to click off. It does means that it is way too hard for you. Choose something else. Maybe it's going to be a cartoon, right? I remember when I was in a college and I was studying English literature, so I just watch a lot of cartoons just because it was only the thing that I could understand and the only thing that I could use to learn all the useful vocabularies I have used. I have a lot of friends who are trying to learn other languages like French, Spanish, and they always tell me, Shalima, I try to watch this and it was just way too hard for me, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be way too hard for you because it was created for native speakers. And if you are upper intermediate, if you are advanced level of speaker, advanced, amazing, great, you should use the material put. Please be very careful if you are a beginner. Harry Potter, have you seen the Harry Potter in the original format? Believe me guys, it's going to be very hard for you to understand if you have watched in English only. Okay, so now let's talk about the consistency over intensity, because I know a lot of people, when it comes to a language learning, they realize they haven't been consistent, and then they decide to do for our power study session, and then they take a break for another month or two. Let's be real guys here, when it comes to learning anything, you have to just acquire the consistency, because consistency beats intensity every time. It's like going to the gym, and working out. A lot better to do it regularly, right? And then you deciding to buy a new workout clothes and then go for the gym once in a blue moon. The same goes for language learning, a technique that is connected to consistency over intensity, and that helps me a lot. Here is a spaced repetition. Our brains are wired to forget things all the time, especially the things that we don't need for or don't use. And unfortunately, it's natural and we forget the certain word over the time. But if you review information at a spaced intervals just before you are about to forget it, you are more likely to retain all of this vocabulary in the long run. And that's how I personally memorize all my vocabulary and all the grammar structures, to use this lazy way of learning instead of sitting with you and know an open textbook and trying to cram all these information in my brain and literally suffering as I do. Stick in my memory better, and because again consistency beats intensity, I review and every single day, guys, and don't have enough time to do every single time to do the practice because of this and because of that. It literally takes me 5 minutes. There is a timer in the app, and guys, you can just choose any app. There is a timer, or like you have to just do the practice for 10 minutes every day, and you can just review yourself every single day. Another misconception is thinking that lazy means that you can go weeks, months without practicing the language and still somehow become advanced. Guys, believe me, I did not become advanced in English because I was not doing anything. I did not become fluent in English because one day I decided to lay on the couch and watch The Office for 10 hours. I wish it worked this way. Consistency is absolutely key, guys, and I know a lot of you might not like the traditional methods of studying, but you do have to engage with the language actively to learn it well. And then there is another issue of not really doing all those little things that makes a huge difference. Once you start reading a new book, you see all of the vocabulary that you really like and you would like to learn, and then you read another book and then the same thing happens. You forget to transfer all of these words to your subconscious mind. So don't memorize them. You didn't use them in your next conversation with the native speakers, and so the whole process starts again. I get it. It can be tedious something. Some use the flashcards and then revise them, all of them, but it makes a such huge difference, guys, if you are using the flashcards for the vocabulary and you are choosing the pictures that makes it easier for you to learn the word, and you are picking example sentences that works for you on your level, for your situation. A big part of how I memorize a lot of words in English and from my native language in this way. I created the flashcards. They are extremely personalized. Nothing is boring. Every time is tailoring it to me, to my needs and goals. So here, bottom line, while lazy learning can be a great supplement to your language learning journey, it should be the main part of it. I am true believer of international effort of taking action, because those two things, guys, have always worked for me. So guys, I think you like the video. If you like the video, please give thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So thanks for watching. Bye bye, take care.